Hello, I'm Teresa Foster, and today we'll be discussing the impact outsourcing has had on the United States job market. As we witnessed in this past election, a large concern of Americans was the job market. This includes the creation of new jobs and keeping jobs in the United States. President Trump has promised to bring back millions of jobs in the hope to become the industrial powerhouse of the business world. But is this possible in this day and age? America was once the capital of manufacturing and production. However, other countries have risen in economic strength, and the United States now depends on them to provide a high level of imports. The purpose of this project is to investigate the economic changes that outsourcing has had on the United States and whether it is possible for large corporations to shift operations back to America while remaining profitable at the same time. We will first look at the history of international trade in the United States. As you can see in the Fred graph below, there was little international trade in the early years following World War II. The United States experienced a time of prosperity and had no need to trade with other countries, as it was heavily self-sufficient on its current resources. Following the Cold War and Vietnam War, however, consumption of imports rose rapidly, peaking at a total of nearly $2 trillion. Now we will look at the current production industry today. According to a report by the Pittsburgh Post, more than 3 million American jobs have been lost to China since 2001, and the U.S. trade deficit jumped from $83 billion to $367 billion. Large corporations shifted their factories to select foreign countries to take advantage of the cheap cost of labor. By doing that, companies avoid paying Americans benefits such as health insurance and retirement pay. They also do not have to conform to U.S. labor standards such as the minimum wage or safe working conditions. Now we'll take a look at changes in the American economic system. It's not hard to see how dependent we are on international trade on a daily basis. Whether it's the clothes we wear, the kitchen gadgets we used, or the electronics we play with, many, if not all, of these products are imported. Even Levi jeans, once a staple of American quality, are now manufactured in China. If you do find a product made in the United States, it's usually more expensive than a product made overseas. This is due to higher labor costs that companies have to pay their employees. It's easy to blame large corporations for not staying in the United States and causing the crippling job losses that affect our economy, but we have to consider the losses a company would suffer bringing back production to America. Higher wages and benefits packages would mean a company could not hire the number of people necessary to keep up with demand. The output of product would be less than what the economy expects. This could cause a shortage of goods. So for example, if Apple were to move their production factories from China to the United States and create a new phone, only a few people would be able to get the phone on launch day since there would be a shortage of phones. Due to lower levels of production, customers may be waiting months instead of days to get the phone they want. We will now look at a possible strategy of a company that wants to return to operating in the United States. Upscale Threads is a clothing manufacturer. It used to operate in San Francisco and employed hundreds of locals. Eventually, the company was bought by Macy's and shifted operations to Cambodia because Macy's thought this would make the company become more profitable. Hundreds of American workers lost their jobs as a result. Upscale Threads became a successful asset to Macy's, outputting more product than when in America. After 10 years, their contract with Macy's is coming to an end, leaving the original owner to decide what to do next. The owner decides the company has enough of a following to bring back production to the United States. The plan would be to spend the contract's remaining time transitioning labor operations from Cambodia to the old San Francisco factory. To move back to America, upscale threads faces many challenges. Upscale threads will have to raise their prices per article of clothing due to higher employee wages. While the average salary in Cambodia was $140 per month, the minimum wage in San Francisco is $13 an hour, or $2,080 per month. The company would not be able to afford as many garment workers as before. It would also be difficult to hire experienced garment workers for minimum wages, especially in San Francisco. Upscale threads would face financial difficulties such as benefit packages, medical insurance, paid days off, and an orientation program, none of which was provided in Cambodia. In order to solve these financial problems, upscale threads would have to move operations to an area where the minimum wage is lower and invest in industrial machines that would eliminate some of the cost of manual labor. Based on my research, it would be very difficult for America to be as successful at manufacturing now as we were decades ago. The rate of production would have to be lower than in other countries. Economic conditions overseas are improving as workers gain more human rights, but it will take a long time to match working conditions in the United States. The amount of time to shift operations back to U.S. soil could lead to the decline of many companies. If a recession were to occur while companies are rebuilding domestically, we could see many large corporations fail, causing the economy to collapse even further. In conclusion, outsourcing has hurt the United States. The job market is smaller, and we now depend on foreign countries to provide us with the products we consume. Companies cannot easily return jobs to the United States without suffering considerable losses. And while there is a market for high-quality products made in America, the average consumer will still choose the cheaper imported option rather than the more expensive locally made option. President Trump's promise to bring back jobs to the United States will take longer than a single election term. There needs to be a financial incentive in order to break free from foreign dependence. Until then, we can only wait until it becomes cheaper to pay local workers than to pay workers overseas. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.